the fuck?
I think that this film is trying to explore the space between good and bad, and the space between right and wrong.
Each of the characters have those choices, and some morality gets challenged in a way with each of the characters.
The way the characters are painted are so intriguing that you want to continue to watch.
When you cast the right actor for the right part, then there will be an explosion of life in front of the camera.
You really find yourself inside these characters and understanding their dilemmas. And I think that's the beautiful thing that Sicario dives into.
Freeze! Kate Mesa, she's an FBI agent. She also runs a hostage rescue team. She's really the moral compass of the film, and she likes to do things in the right way. She does things by the book.
Kate Mesa witnessed slowly that the violence coming from the South is growing and coming closer to her hometown. She feels that she has less and less power against that violence. And that this character that's starting to doubt about her own ways of doing things.
Kate, you must volunteer for an interagency task force.
Do we get an opportunity of the men responsible for today?
The men who are really responsible for today, yeah.
I'll volunteer.
Where Kate is fighting with American morality and the American rules of justice. Her enemies, the cartels, have none of that. They have no rules, no laws, no morals.
She gets thrust into this team that's basically looking more holistically and globally at a particular cartel that they're trying to eliminate.
They do things completely illegally, and there is the constant pull and the magnet towards that world where she sees the benefit of what they do in some ways. The great conflict about the character, which is fun to play, is that there's a sort of temptation with this world, with the CIA and how they do things. I think the audience are looking at this through Kate's eyes and asked to question their moral compass as to what they would do in this situation.
You married?
Divorced?
Kids?
No. Anything else?
I've had a lot of people ask me, why did I make Kate a woman? And as I was coming up with these characters, I thought that a man would be less likely to stand by their principles in that circumstance. I believed that a woman would not be as willing to allow the end to justify the means. When I'm creating this character who looks weak at times, when she's not weak, she just is in a world she doesn't understand, and she's unwilling to bend the rules as she's been taught them. And we perceive that as weakness. When Denise signed on and we started looking for an actress to play it, there was a fear that the character would come across as weak. And my argument was, an actress is going to read this role and see everything that other people were seeing as a weakness as a strength. And she came along very quickly.
What do you want, Kate? What would you like done here?
I want to follow some semblance of procedure. That's what I want, to build a prosecutable case.
We prosecuted more felony drug cases in this region last year than in the 2 previous years combined. Are you feeling that on the street?
No. I just admired the character. I thought she represented that morality in an amoral world. And I think to see that line and that person disintegrate over the next 3 days was going to be challenging, and I was excited.
Ready and action!
I was looking for a young actress that will have the strength and the ability to portray an FBI agent that will be believable. Someone that, without losing her femininity.
Yes.
And I knew that Emily, she had that inner strength that I was looking for. It's also a very tough part because as the witness of this operation, she has to do a lot of things in her eyes without saying things. She has to make the audience understand the path of her character. And Emily is a very precise and subtle actress.
She's a character who you don't have much to go on. There isn't much backstory. So Kate became my invention and my take on her. And so the most informative thing for me was speaking to 4 female FBI agents who were very honest, very open about what that lifestyle is, the certain kind of personality you need to have in order to be a woman in law enforcement, the kind of courage you need. And I always saw Kate as somebody who is, there's a steeliness and a strength, but she's actually quite shy, you know, and the woman that I based her on was one of these FBI agents who was quite shy, actually, and quite sort of socially a bit awkward. And I thought that was a good take for this character. And she's someone who's thrust into a vulnerable position, and yet she's highly skilled at what she normally does. So it was just trying to find that fine line between vulnerability and strength. The border crossing scene is where you see the first time the character starts to truly disintegrate, because she comes from a world where she's held accountable for every bullet she fires, and she's in this land where people just spray bullets, and she has to shoot somebody during the border battle in order to survive.
The convoy trip was so traumatic. I mean, I think the rules she lives by, the rules she was trained with as a law enforcement, have completely gone away, and she realizes that she's in a new world and she's lost.
Sicario would be the equivalent of a hitman for a drug cartel.
Sicario has a very powerful and scary meaning in Spanish, and it's the job of one of my main characters. For me, Alejandro is the soul of the movie. And through Kate's eyes, we will slowly discover him, learn about this past, about what he was before, and more important, what he is now.
Listen, nothing will make sense to your American ears. And you will doubt everything that we do. But in the end, you will understand.
My character, Alejandro, used to be a prosecutor, and his family was killed in the drug wars, and he's become sort of an assassin against the drug lords, especially the ones that had something to do with the killing of his family.
There's a sadness about him, and you realize what a great loss he's suffered, and therefore what's driving his need for revenge.
I think he's someone who lost his soul, is someone that is the result of a tremendous amount of violence, and is someone that is a ghost.
I would recommend not standing on balconies for a while, Kate.
He's the consequence of the same innocence that Kate possesses. People think that his connection to Kate is because she reminds him of his daughter or his wife, but what she really reminds him of is himself when he was young and idealistic. And his attempt to educate her is to prevent her from becoming what he's become.
She moved to a small town. You will not survive here. You're not a wolf. And this is the land of wolves now.
It's tough to say whether he's a good guy or a bad guy. Denis and myself were like playing with that as much as we can.
I knew that I would need an actor that will bring the necessary soul to this part. Alejandro is not a very talkative character, and Benicio, without saying nothing, just by his presence, by just the way he moves in the screen, brings a lot of tension.
I'm gonna step out.
Benicio, we've seen him play these very unleashed sort of roles, and this is incredibly quiet and still and suppressed. And it's been exciting in that way to work with him because he brings ambiguity to what he does. You sort of have to kind of look closer, you know, and I feel myself doing that in scenes with him as well.
The threat of Alejandro is in you just don't know what's gonna happen next, and he carries a weight of he's seen some stuff.
He's a real film actor in that same sense that I would have said about Robert Mitchum. They don't do a lot, but it's there. There's a sort of depth within that face without having to make big gestures. It's so much stronger when it's minimal, really.
I think when Kate first meets Alejandro, she doesn't know what to think.
They have this rather strange connection to each other that is not romantic, but they're drawn to each other in some way.
There's a strange relationship that is created in front of the camera as the movie evolves that is very important for the movie, and it's her trying to understand the world of this man.
And then when she discovers just how broken this man is and how that's manifested with the violence that he is able to instill on others, our heart is broken for him.
I just want to know what I'm getting into.
Kate, you volunteered to get on this train because you know you're doing nothing in Phoenix. Okay, you're just sweeping up a fucking mess. Do you want to find the guys responsible, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes!
This is where we start.
Matt is the classic American soldier, law enforcement, CIA, who is convinced, and I'm not sure he's wrong, that we are at war with people that are much more depraved, much more immoral than we are. And the only way to keep America safe is to fight that war on their terms.
He's not a zealot. He's not a fanatic. He is an extremely well-trained, lifelong soldier that is elevated to an art form. And he's having a blast.